The first human warship tore a hole in the sky above our capital, and for the first time in my 300 years of service, I felt fear instead of calculation, not curiosity, not strategic concern. Fear, because ships like that did not arrive unless someone had already decided to die. I was Velrix of Quiet Orbits, historian for the Concord of 12 systems. My role was simple: observe, record, and never interfere. Humanity, a young species from a dull yellow star, had been cataloged as volatile but insignificant, emotionally unstable, militarily immature. That assessment had just become fatally wrong, and that was only the beginning. The humans did not announce themselves with a transmission. They didn't posture or threaten. They emerged from folded space already in attack formation, hull scarred, weapons hot, engines screaming like beasts barely leashed. Our orbital sentinels hesitated. That pause cost us 3 defense platforms. I remember thinking, why would anyone enter a war already wounded? What I saw next changed everything. As debris burned across the upper atmosphere, our diplomats finally pierced the silence. They demanded explanation, restitution, surrender terms, anything. The reply came from a single human voice, rough and shaking, broadcast on every frequency at once. You took our children. Not attacked, not provoked. Took. None of us were prepared for the truth. Decades earlier, the Concord had authorized Project Luminous Veil, a quiet harvesting of promising species for cognitive experimentation. No invasions, no genocides, just removal, select individuals, statistically negligible. Humans had been listed as ideal candidates. Their neuroplasticity was extraordinary, their emotional range exploitable. The Council assured us they would never notice. They were wrong. Humans always notice what hurts. But that was only the beginning. The war escalated faster than any conflict in recorded history. Human fleets did not fight for territory or resources. They punched straight through strategic systems, ignoring losses that would have broken older civilizations. Every ship they lost only sharpened their advance. It was irrational, terrifying, beautiful. I studied their battle footage obsessively. Humans screaming orders while bleeding. Pilots staying conscious long past safe limits just to guide a missile home. Engineers sealing reactor breaches with their own bodies to buy seconds for evacuation. They did not retreat. They endured. And somewhere deep in my core, all replaced fear. Then came the prisoners. I was assigned Interview 1, a human officer captured when her cruiser detonated too close to our gravity well. Her name was Commander Eliza Morgan. She sat in the containment field, skin pale, eyes blazing with something close to grief. "You're historians," she said, voice steady despite the pain. "You know what you did." I told her the truth, as neutrally as I could. Project Luminous Veil, statistical necessity, advancement of knowledge. She laughed. A broken, horrible sound. "You don't understand," she said. "Those weren't subjects. They were our future." That sentence echoed in me long after the interview ended. What kind of species defined itself by who came next? What I learned next shattered everything. The Concord had underestimated the scale of its theft. Humans had discovered missing entire generations from fringe colonies. Children with rare neuromarkers. Artists, problem solvers, dreamers. They had searched for years. Quietly, desperately. When they found us, they didn't come for justice. They came for reunion. Midway through the war, as casualty projections spiraled into the absurd, humanity changed tactics. Their fleet slowed. Their assaults became surgical. They weren't destroying infrastructure anymore. They were targeting data vaults, research hubs, black sites even our own council pretended didn't exist. That was the moment I realized the truth. Humans weren't fighting blindly. They knew exactly where their stolen children were kept. And then came the signal. A burst of code so elegant it made our greatest cryptographers weep. Humanity had cracked our containment networks. Across 100 systems, stasis chambers opened. Millions of abducted minds woke screaming into unfamiliar stars. The Concorde panicked. What I saw next changed everything. The humans stopped attacking. Instead, they sent evacuation routes, medical ships, translators. They protected the very facilities they had just breached, shielding alien researchers from reprisal by their own freed subjects. It made no sense until Commander Morgan spoke again. "We're not monsters," she said, broadcast galaxy-wide. "We're parents." That was the turning point. The moment every predictive model failed. The Concorde demanded surrender. Humanity refused. Not with weapons, but with something far more dangerous. They offered a choice. Return every remaining abductee. Dismantle Project Luminous Veil. Open all records. Or face a war humans would not win, but neither would we survive. I watched the council fracture in real time. Logic argued compliance. Pride demanded resistance. Fear whispered that humans were bluffing. They were not. When the final battle came, it wasn't over a star or a throne. It was over a single prison moon where the earliest human captives were kept. Elders now, minds scarred but unbroken. The Concorde deployed everything. The humans arrived outnumbered 3-1. They should have lost. They didn't. They fought like a species that had already accepted extinction if it meant one last embrace. Ships rammed larger vessels just to clear paths. Soldiers advanced through vacuum with cracked suits, mouths frozen open in silent screams. And they kept coming. I was there when the prison moon fell. I watched humans collapse onto the stone floors, sobbing as they held survivors who barely remembered Earth. No victory chants, no celebration, just reunion. After the war, the Concorde dissolved. Not by force, but by shame. I was tasked with compiling the final record, an explanation to future civilizations about why humanity was now classified not as volatile, but as legendary. I struggled to summarize them. They were contradictory, violent and compassionate, reckless and precise, capable of immense cruelty and greater mercy. Commander Morgan visited me once before returning to Earth. She looked older, tired, but her eyes were peaceful. "You'll warn them, right?" she asked. "The next ones who find us." I nodded. What should I tell them? She smiled, faint but fierce. "Tell them humans love like it's a law of physics. And if you break it..." She didn't finish. I didn't need her to. Now, when new species ask why humans are whispered about across the stars, I tell them the truth, that humans do not march to war for conquest. They march for each other. And if you ever take what they love, they will cross the galaxy, bleeding and unafraid, just to bring it home.